This one is pretty tough for me, and I've said before that I'm doing these devotionals because this is kind of the stuff that I'm dealing with, stuff I've dealt with in my world, and maybe it's going to be something that you're thinking about or might be dealing with. And this one is really blah. This one's really close to home, and I don't like the idea of, here, let me do a video and read the script and talk to you. I don't want that. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's not how I do things. And this video is, or this idea, devotion, pick a word, whatever, is very much the idea that I have gone for a really, really long time, maybe the majority of my life, wondering and thinking God is just this being up in the sky, in the heavens, and I can't do anything right, and he barely tolerates me, and this is just the way it is because that's who God is, and he doesn't have time for me, and he doesn't really like me, and I should just, do the best I can, realize I'm going to mess up. I'm always going to mess up. I'm never going to get it right. Nothing is ever going to turn out right. And I need to just deal with the fact that he really just doesn't like me very much. And yeah, that's been the majority of my life. Even though I've been a believer for a really long time, that has been my understanding and relationship, I thought was my relationship, and really it's just been my understanding, and it's not scriptural at all, even though, when you look through scripture, Old Testament and a lot of times New Testament, you can find everything that will support that idea that God is just this being in the sky, and no matter what you do, you're not going to get it right, and you can keep trying, but it's not going to happen. And he's going to be really quick to let you know that you didn't get it right, and you messed up again, and you're not doing it, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. And that's a pretty sad, depressing, irritating, debilitating, I don't know. Lots of words could fit in there. But that's how I've lived the majority of my life. And it makes it really tough to have any understanding of, oh, yes, God is peace, and God is love, and God is joy. And I'm like, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, I don't see it, but I'll take your word for it because I'm not seeing it. And just in the last few years, and yes, I am actually still working on this in my life right now, today, this whole idea that God actually, and you would think I would have a clue because, hello, he sent his one and only son. I have 2 boys, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not really willing to give up one of my kids, but he did. So somewhere in there you would think I would have this idea that, oh yeah, God really does love me, and I really am important to him. And yeah, somehow that just didn't register with me at all. And like I said, Old Testament, New Testament, there's a lot of places that the idea that God is this really mean, grouchy dude that's going to zap you, that's pretty prevalent if you're not understanding or not reading scripture the way it's actually written. And I hate to say it that way, but there's a whole lot of well-meaning people in this world, and well-meaning religions, and sometimes even churches that's what their idea is. This is God, and he's going to get you because you're not going to be able to do anything right. Well, that's not the truth, even though that's what I heard for years and years. So Romans 8:31, the second part of it says, if God is for us, who is against us? Now, I realize that's kind of a rhetorical question. Actually, it's not kind of, it's definitely a rhetorical question. It's like, do you get it? Hello, think about this. And I didn't get it. It was always, well, God's for everybody else, but he's not really for me because I keep messing up and I can't do anything right. And then, let's see, where am I here? Psalm 23:4 says, I fear no danger, for you are with me. And then Psalm 56:9 says, this I know, God is for me. I think that's 56:9. Yeah, pretty sure it is. So where did I get this crazy idea that he wasn't? Well, it's from an upbringing. It's from growing up with family that you could never, it was never okay, and you're not in a position that you're necessarily loved, but you're tolerated. And I'm not the only one. I know I am not the only one that has grown up that way. So I have to continually go back to that scripture that, says, if God is for us, who can be against us? And I have to go, if God is for me, hold on. If God is for me, that means the scripture that says God works all things together for good for those who love him. Well, that one applies too. Wow, that one applies too. And I can take all of these things that have been so difficult and looked like God was out to get me, and here we go again, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I can take all of that and I can smash it right up against God works all things together for good for those who love him. And smash it right up against, if God is for me, who would dare be against me? Well, I have to take that even one step further and say, if God is for me, how could I be against me? And that's the easiest thing, is for me to be against me. That's the space I have to be careful of, that I have to walk out of and go, I can't even be against me because God is for me. And every thought that I need to take captive and subject it to the Lord, is the thought that if God is for me and he makes everything work together for good, for my good, then I don't have to think about I'm not good enough and he's out to get me. That doesn't have to be my reality. That can go away. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I hope you get that, and I hope it makes sense to you, because man, it's really starting to make sense to me. I would really like to think no one has ever dealt with this but me, but I think a lot of us have dealt with that. And if you have, would you leave me a little comment below and let me know, yeah, you get it? Thanks.